In this update, we're going to be tracking several cold blasts over the next week or two, along with several potential winter storms. So, if we expand the view and take a look at the North American setup, yeah, we've got some really cold air. In fact, it's been cold up there in Alaska, dangerously cold, record cold, 50 below zero kind of cold, and even 30 consecutive days now in Fairbanks, Alaska, below zero. So the first initial push of Arctic air will start to originate by the time we head into Wednesday across a good part of the Great Lakes, and that will trickle down and bring some very high winds along into the central US. We're talking winds gust of anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour at times across the plains and much of the upper Great Lakes. Each cold front, I think, will get a little bit colder as we progress into later half of this week and especially heading into next week. So the first initial push will set up on Wednesday, really kind of get going on Thursday, but really elongating along the eastern 2/3 of the US. Much of the western regions will still be locked under that ridge of high pressure. So the main push of Arctic air will be highlighted across the upper Midwest, a good part of the Tennessee Valley, but this push of Arctic air actually heads all the way down into the southeast. And in fact, much of Florida will be definitely feeling the chill in a big way. Looking at some of the temperatures, yeah, I mean, we've got, hard freeze kind of temperatures down there into the southeast, basically into a good part of Georgia, down in the South Carolina region, and even parts of Florida will actually experience a freeze. So if we track this winter storm, it's always a reminder of how powerful Mother Nature is. Snowpacks, cold air surges, jet stream dips, all of it connects back to the land and ecosystems beneath. And that's exactly something I've been thinking about a lot of lately.
As we track this winter storm, it's always a reminder how powerful nature is. Snowpack, cold air surges, jet stream dips, all of it connects back to the land and the ecosystems beneath it. My friends at Planet Wild are building part of a global community doing something pretty special. Think of it like crowdfunding for nature. Every month, more than 17,000 members fund a hands-on mission to restore forests, protect wildlife, clean up oceans, and help rebuild areas hit hard by extreme weather conditions. And they document the whole process on YouTube so you can see the impact of your contribution has. It's like crowdfunding, but for nature. A storm like this reminds me of how much winter shapes our landscapes, snowpack feeds rivers, cold snaps stresses wildlife, storm after storm can take a toll. Planet Wild focuses on real solutions. They're all out replanting forests after fires, restoring habitats that struggle during harsh seasons and winters, and working with local partners who see the impact up close. I joined Planet Wild because I spend every day watching nature react to weather like this. I wanted to be a part of something that helps repair what these big swings leave behind. And honestly, seeing the missions, updates, and badges in the app every month makes it feel real. You don't have to travel anywhere. You can protect nature from your sofa and see the results within 30 days. If you want to be a part of a growing community that makes a real difference, consider joining Planet Wild. You can give whatever amount feels right. Every dollar truly counts towards protecting nature. And here's a little gift from me. The first 100 people who sign up using my code PAL12 will have their first month covered by me. Just scan the QR code on the screen and use the link in the description. Your impact starts right away, and you'll see the results in less than 30 days on their YouTube channel, and you can cancel at any time. If you want to see what Planet Wild is doing right now, check out their latest mission at the end of this video.
So if we look at the overall big picture, yeah, this is your secondary surge of Arctic air that really gets its act together on Friday. We're going to be seeing another impulse of colder air, this one highlighted a little bit further west, but it still will be kind of glancing below a good part of the Central Plains. This is again another push that's mainly going to be confined around the eastern 2/3 of the US. and actually bring a little bit of snow with it as well. This will be our first potential winter storm that kind of clipper systems that will really kind of get going as we head into Friday, heading into Saturdays. We'll have spokes of energy pushing down from Canada into the Great Lakes with some snow bands, snow showers at times, and then ringing across the Great Lakes, a good part of the Ohio Valley, as well as into areas of the Northeast. And as we head into Saturday, yes, we'll have some snow showers at times across the plains. Can't be ruled out some snow flurries across Kansas and portions of Oklahoma, but we're not expecting much of anything. Mainly the snow is mainly going to be confined around Tennessee and points northbound into Kentucky, areas of Indiana, Ohio, back into portions of Pennsylvania, getting into upstate New York, and a good part of the Great Lakes as well. And this secondary push is going to be a little bit colder as well, and definitely reflected about on some of these temperatures as you wake up on Sunday morning. This will be January the 18th time frame. See where it's going to be essentially missing a good part of the Central Plains. Again, a more of a glancing blow, but on the eastern sides of Oklahoma, far east Texas, much of Louisiana, much of Arkansas will be on the brunt of that Arctic air. We could be looking at some teens, even 19 degrees, maybe not out of the question. Even some teens showing up on the map across northern portions, Mississippi, Alabama, northern portions of Georgia will be getting the widespread 20s. So definitely some Arctic air. In fact, the coldest air mass of the season will be on the table as we head into your Sunday morning. And I think that actually trickles into Monday as well. You can see this more pronounced jet stream dip in the upper levels of the atmosphere, mainly again highlighted across the eastern 2/3 of the US. The difference this time, this ridge really starts to amplify and lift back up into Alaska. This will be the first time that we're trying to start to get initial stages of Alaska starting to warm, and that could play a role on the next push that looks to extend towards the end of the month of Arctic air. And so as we head into that, that 18th to 22nd time frame, this is the latest update from the Climate Prediction Center, kind of really highlighting those two surges of Arctic air that'll be pushing across the lower 48, mainly confined again on the eastern 2/3 of the US. The central US will take more of a glancing blow, while much of the western regions miss out on that cold, at least as of now. But look at the difference. There's Alaska, and this is the first time I think we've seen this all winter long, because Alaska's been extremely cold. We finally actually get above average up there in Alaska, and I think that's finally going to play a role as we extend towards the end of the month. So if we could look at some of the teleconnections, you can see how this kind of transitions outward, as well as the Eastern Pacific Oscillation. Not only does it dip negative as we head towards that 17th, 18th time frame that's showing you some of those impulses of Arctic air, but it continues to remain on the negative side really all the way into the second half of January. So we'll have that push of colder air coming in from Canada, trying to extend lower and lower, deeper into the lower 48. At the same time, we'll also have the NAO, which is your North Atlantic Oscillation, also turning negative. Now, that actually may be playing a role on trying to slow these systems down. They've been so progressive going from west to east, it's hard to tap into some available moisture. So once we get into that past the 20th time frame, but that other initial push of colder air that's going to be coming down southbound, that is going to be having a lot more moisture to be able to work with, because these systems won't be as progressive going from west to east. So we should be looking at some some significant snow by then. So as we transition into that 20th time frame, so this will be about a week from now, yes, we could be looking at, of course, Texas and much of Oklahoma has been pretty dry over the last 2 months. So now we're talking, we even got precipitation chances trying to come back in the picture as we head towards that 20th time frame, as finally that subtropical jet stream starts to wake up a little bit, as the polar jet will be dipping further south as well. So looking at the 21st time frame on the ensemble look, again, we'll have a predominantly the eastern 2/3 of the US locked into those colder air masses. Much of the western, much of the central US will start to rapidly rebound and warm up in a big way. But look at the transition, the difference this time. That ridge of high pressure locks all the way up into Western Canada, and pretty much all of Alaska turns warm. That typically implies that some of that cold air will finally be released up there and start to head southbound. This will likely be after the 22nd, 23rd time frame, because looking at some of the ensembles, once we head towards that 25th, 24th, and 25th of the month, a lot of it's starting to come into agreement once we start getting some of that blocking trying to take shape up there into Alaska. We'll finally start to get some of the coldest anomalies dipping further south, not just including the northern US, but trying to get into the central US as well. This is the latest European ensembles. Here is the latest GFS ensembles, kind of implying the same thing. So that'll have a lot of weight, especially with the teleconnections continue to remain negative. I think finally, once we hit towards that 25th time frame, some of the latest runs on the GFS and the global guidances definitely start to hint at some of that Arctic air that's just been bottled up there into Alaska and Western Canada for an extremely long time, will be heading southbound, and it's likely going to be impacting the western regions this time and the central US, and then pushing eastbound. So that's a noticeable difference of what we've seen as of late. But this definitely could be by far the coldest air mass of the season, as you're seeing that massive temperature gradient starting to take shape once we head towards, say, the 24th, 25th time frame of the month. So guys, I appreciate you watching. Do like this video. Definitely hit the subscribe button and catch me next update where I protect you before and after the storm.